evening, and welcome back to Coffee with a Kick. I'm gonna sound like this the whole episode. Maybe it's easier for me to talk this way. No, I'm not, because that sounds annoying. And,
sounds like the SpongeBob episode.
Which SpongeBob episode?
They're selling chocolate.
Chocolate?
I remember when they first invented chocolates.
Boy, that's a throwback to a very old episode. That's probably back in the is that back in the noughties? Or is that at least from the 2010s? I can't remember.
No, I think that was like 2004 or 2005.
That's retro SpongeBob. Anyways, now that we're done with our SpongeBob, our traditional SpongeBob discussion at the beginning of the episode, we know why you're here. You're here to like and subscribe to our videos on the YouTubes. That's where you're catching us. I'm just going to turn to Shock Jock voice eventually and just go back to the chocolate lady. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Go ahead and hit that bell. I promise I don't normally sound like this. It's not much better when I'm healthy, but it's not so, I don't know, auditorily infected sounding. Like you can hear it. In the meantime, while I get better, we will go ahead and review, or preview, I should say, our upcoming matches for this weekend. Got a big slate for both Saturday and Sunday for the Premier League. Week 12, Matchday 12 action. Starting off with one that I'm not looking forward to, mainly because I think it will go very poorly. My Wolves, down there in Wolverhampton, are going to host Tottenham Hotspur coming up from London town. I think we got a little unlucky in the Sheffield. A little unlucky. We got gypped in the Sheffield match, obviously, because that was a terrible penalty that was given in stoppage time. That was Sheffield United, okay? This is Tottenham Hotspur. They're going to be coming in upset from their own last week action, looking to right the ship, essentially. I mean, was it their fault that they were down to 9 men? Yes. But, it's still an unusual thing. I think that they really take it to us. I think it goes 3-1 when we get like a late, just kind of consolation goal. And Tottenham's like, yeah, whatever. You get it. It's fine.
I think in the past, Tottenham would be a team that once they lose one, they lose a couple. Mm-hmm. I don't think this regime looks like that. No. I'm predicting 3-1 victory. I think Wolves get one, but I don't think that they have the stuff to beat them.
Nah, with our guy there out with the hammy, Neto. Yeah, Neto. I know his name, Neto. Pedro Neto's our goalkeeper. Raul Neto? I think that's his name. Neto.
No, Pedro Neto's the guy.
Pedro Neto is the guy. Whatever. Now I'm sounding like Mr. Krabs. Yeah. Anyway, 3-1. Both of us agree. Very reasonable result and highly likely result. Unfortunate for my Wolves, but we're still, we'll still be trying to figure out how to produce goals against quality sides in this one. Going to the next one here. Arsenal hosts Burnley. This one I don't have high hopes for, mainly because Burnley's not good. I mean, we've talked about it again and again. They don't have the pieces to finish on their decent possession tactics. Yeah. And I think that Arsenal gets a relatively disappointing 2-0 victory.
Yeah, I think this is kind of two styles clashing together. Because I think Burnley presses well and they really try to keep possession. And Arsenal also tries to do that. So I think it'll end up being 0-0.
Really?
Draw, no goals, 0-0.
Wow. That would be a very welcome result for, as I would always say, Yaya Touré's Vincent Kompany side. Yeah, I mean, it certainly would be a clash of styles. I just think that at some point, Arsenal will get through on it, but we'll see. Then we have Crystal Palace hosting Everton. How do you have this one headed with the other Liverpool team coming down to London?
Yeah, again, this is one of those where I don't really know what either team is, and we're 11 games into the season. I think Everton is the hotter team as far as the last 6 games total. So I think they pip Crystal Palace at home 2-1.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I've got this one. This one is a hard one to pick. You'll look at the slate on your preferred sports book, and everything will be plus 200, plus 200 for Chelsea, Crystal Palace, plus 200 for draw, plus 200 for Everton, because no one knows, because we don't know what side's going to show up. Crystal has been good, been bad. Everton's been bad. They've had some very bad matches, and some of them, especially recently, have been quite good. I've got this as a 1-1 draw. I think both teams go in and they're pressing, trying to get that extra goal, trying to get that one up, because they're gettable points. Both teams are going to feel like these are gettable points, but it ends up sort of negating each other's aggressive action, and it ends up with that 1-1 draw there in London. And then for another one of our Saturday matches, Manchester United and Luton Town. Now, a little preview for tomorrow's episode. Manchester United's luck did run out in the Champions League, and they lost to Copenhagen. And really, it was quite an exciting match. But you'll have to turn to the episode tomorrow for that. How do you have this one shaken out up in Manchester?
I think if there was ever a time for Luton to go into Old Trafford and win, it is this time.
Yeah.
I think they win 2-1.
Wow.
And I've said Ten Hag should be out a while ago, but I think Ten Hag finally gets on the hot seat and might get the boot after losing to 2 teams they should not have lost to. So I have Luton going into Old Trafford and winning.
Yeah, he kind of gets the pass on the Copenhagen one because the red card being debatable. We'll debate it tomorrow. I think this one ends up looking almost like last week for Luton. So a nice 1-1 draw. But I think that Man U has a little bit of that spark of luck come back into it, and they get a squirrely late goal to go up 2-1, the inverse of your prediction. I just think that I do think that Luton is not very good. They looked a lot better in that last match. I don't know that they'll be able to carry that through to an away side for what's going to be a very hostile Old Trafford. I mean, it may be hostile toward United. It could very easily be hostile towards United, but it's going to be hostile regardless. And that's going from. If you've watched, I've complained plenty about the camera angle when we're at Luton Town. It's terrible. But the stands, I don't know if their capacity is 10,000 at that stadium. I mean, it's you find high school football stadiums with tons more capacity than that here in the States. I think that I think that it goes 2-1 to Man United. Easy as that. And now for the next episode. The next one here. Bournemouth hosts Newcastle. We get to ask again, how bad will it be for Bournemouth?
Yeah, I think Newcastle will be pretty mad about, again, you'll hear tomorrow, they'll be pretty mad about losing to Dortmund in the Champions League. So I think it ends up being 5-2.
Interesting.
I think it'll be a big goal. I think Bournemouth gets a couple. Newcastle gets plenty. So I'm going 5-2.
5-2. I've got this one as, a Newcastle bounce back for sure. It's a nice team to catch when you're looking for a bounce back. I've got it as a 4-0, true drubbing. Newcastle can sit on the rock, they can put a game to sleep. I think that they get 3 in the first half and just dink it around in the second and end up coming up with a goal because they're like, well, we can't not score here. Like, it's wide open. So I think that one, it just, Bournemouth, another side that's going to be fighting for relegation. And it's going to show between this week and last week when they were taken apart by City. I think that wraps it up. Let me go back to my other screen here. That wraps it up for Saturday with that Bournemouth-Newcastle match at Vitality Stadium. Then moving to Sunday in the slate of 4 9 a.m. matches, the first one I have on my list is Aston Villa hosting Fulham at Villa Park in Birmingham.
Yeah, this is probably the first time in a long time I've seen the games evenly spread out between Saturday and Sunday. So
yeah, first time in quite a while. For
5
sure.
on Saturday, 5 on Sunday. And I think because of that, Aston Villa is going to put 5 past Fulham.
Whoa.
And they're also going to be kind of angry at their last result. And I think it's going to be 5 to 1.
5 to 1.
They drub them at Villa Park.
Wow. I mean, that definitely, yeah. Villa definitely going to be disappointed after their 2-0. 2-0, like, it's so random. Nottingham Forest beating them 2-0 last week. I've got this one as a more exciting match. I think that Fulham are looking to try to get back into the swing of things. I think this one is 3-2 Villa winning, with 2 early goals from Fulham. So I think that Fulham goes up by 1, Villa draws, Fulham goes up by another 1, and then in the second half, Fulham goes up by another 1, and then Villa squits 2 in the second half. Who scores them? I don't care. I'm just looking for the right scoreline here. But I do think that Villa end up being too much for Fulham in the end. Kind of get back to their scoring ways, because getting blanked against Nottingham Forest is an aberration for Villa this year.
Yeah, that would not be good for them. Definitely.
No. And then we move down. Well, we move. Let's see. I don't know where Birmingham is. I know that Brighton is on the southern coast of England. I think the southeastern coast of England, but I don't know where Birmingham is. Off the top of my head, I apologize for not being well studied in English geography. Brighton Hove Albion hosts Sheffield United at Amex Stadium.
You know, I was going back and forth with this one. I think I'm going to go 4-0. I wanted to keep the 3-1 or the 6-1, but
I know, right?
I don't see Sheffield getting a goal.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I also think Brighton, after last week, starving for goals, really. They're hungry. So they're going to satiate that hunger.
Ooh.
And
well, I've got it as a 5-0 victory for Sheffield United.
Holy cow.
Psych for Brighton Hove Albion.
Prediction of the season.
Yeah.
5-0 Sheffield.
5-0 Sheffield United. No, I think I did this with them last week as well. I'm supposed to be picking Sheffield United, apparently.
Deep down, you want them to win.
I don't really care. They make my graphic have to be different when I have to put them in the edit, so I'm not super enthralled with Sheffield United. But I do think Brighton get back to their multiple goal ways here. They've been a little bit on a dry spell for goals. I mean, they've scored some, but it's been not a drought, but certainly dry for their goal scoring capabilities, which we know they have, and they're at home. They love being at home, except for that weird West Ham match earlier this season where they lost, what was that, 3-1? Yes, obviously it was 3-1. It was earlier this season in Brighton, so it had to be 3-1. Yeah, so Brighton takes it 5-0. No, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it 5-1. Got to do 5-1. They get back to there's always another goal there.
Brighton cannot keep a clean sheet, apparently.
No, they got it. They give up one or they only get one. That's the rule, and I'm sticking to it. All right, then to Liverpool and Brentford at Anfield in Liverpool. This one I have as a good result for Brentford, a 2-2 draw at Anfield. I think you'd take that any day of the week if you're Brentford. I think, 2-2 draw with Liverpool. I think that Brentford actually fight their way back into this one after going 2-0 down and kind of stun the crowd there. But I think Brentford, those bees can buzz and they can sting. And sometimes I think that they're going to catch Liverpool a little bit on this one.
Yeah, I have the exact same result, 2-2. And I think it's Brentford that gets a late equalizer against Liverpool.
Yeah, I'm thinking this one's a good match. That's what I'm hoping for.
Mm-hmm.
I like watching Brentford. And then one I really have no idea about because these two teams, who knows? Like we were talking about this for back up with the Crystal Palace and Everton, but really, West Ham versus Nottingham Forest at London Stadium. I don't really know. I've got it as a 3-1 victory for Nottingham Forest. I don't know why I wrote that down, but that's what I've got here. It seems strange, but it could happen. Like I don't know what to expect from these teams ever.
Yeah, I have the exact opposite, 3-1 to West Ham. And I think this is the game they rewrite the ship and they point it in the right direction again.
Yeah, and I buy it too. I mean, these are 12 and 13 on the board with Nottingham in the ascendancy currently, but we'll see. Looking at their recent action together, the last time West Ham won 4-0, they've split the last two from last season. So we'll see what happens on that one. And then wrapping up the weekend with, I suppose, the mainline match here. Chelsea hosts City at Stamford Bridge. What do you think about this one?
I think Chelsea got lucky last week. Yeah. You'll have to watch our last episode to hear about that comments. But 4-1, and they barely won.
Yeah,
like you win by 3 goals and you barely win. That's interesting. But anyways, I think they don't do that versus City. I think we end up winning 3-1.
Okay.
I just don't think Chelsea have it. And I think City is playing pretty well. So
yeah, definitely City have figured out some things here in the recent weeks. I think they finally. So I think the big problem for City was that Rodri missed those 3 matches because I think they were starting to get into it after losing to Bruyne early in the season, and then Rodri had those 3 matches, that 3-match suspension, and that got him back out of sync. Now he's back in. I mean, obviously Pep doesn't start the same side more than once because he hasn't done it in the past 18 months.
But he always starts Rodri.
But Rodri he starts Haaland, and he starts Phil. I think so, unless he's resting Phil. But I've got this one as a little bit more exciting. A 2-4 loss for Chelsea, 4-2 victory for City. I just think that they're not going to get that lucky this time. Chelsea's not going to be playing against 9 dudes out there. It's not going to happen.
Knock on wood. Knock on wood.
Yeah, seriously though. Excuse me. But that is the week that will be for the EPL. The week that will be Match Day 12, coming to theaters soon near you. Anything else you want to hit before we go on skedaddle out of here?
I think this will be the last international break we'll get. So after this week,
season? Really? Oh.
And then it's not going to be till March. So a lot of Premier League football coming up over the holidays.
Hey, glad to see it. The one thing I did want to hit is that Haaland was ticked off that he didn't win the Ballon d'Or, and he said, "I'm not coming back to this thing." Do you think he's actually going to stick to that?
Hey, looking at the numbers, Messi won the World Cup, amazing.
Right.
But Haaland won the treble. And then scored 52 goals and had like 20 assists.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know what else he needs to do, but
it was a career.
He would stay away from it.
For Messi, I think it was a career capstone sort of thing. he finally he gets Argentina back in there, wins the World Cup. But it's almost the inverse of like when they refuse to keep giving LeBron the MVP in the NBA. Mm-hmm. Like statistically, he was the best player for like 8 years in a row, but they wouldn't let him bypass Jordan on consecutive MVP awards. And then once they did it once, they kept doing it again and again. Now I hope that doesn't happen here for the Ballon d'Or, because if he keeps putting up 50 goals a season and 20 plus assists, like how can you not? I did like how City had, I think, two guys finish in the top 5, right? De Bruyne and Haaland finish in top 5. So, when you win a treble, that's going to happen. Anyways, I think that he'll get there eventually. Maybe he skips the first one out of principle, but like they keep giving it to him. I think he'll start showing back up.
He's also the guy that says he wants to retire no later than 35 to be a farmer. So, yeah. I don't know. He seems like a guy that sticks to his word.
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, it's awfully tempting, those nice perks for considering up there. Anyway, that's all we've got for today. So after you watch our lovely episode tomorrow, when you hit the weekend, why don't you go ahead and grab your coffee, watch some soccer, and we will see you tomorrow. Champions League review episode. Ahoy!